turning our biggest mistakes into your biggest wins. That picture right there, Lucas, inspired me to bring this back because that just is.
So you bringing it back, the stash?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that was the picture that inspired you to bring it back.
Because it's like off and it's.
So you want to come back stronger than that.
Yes,
Is what you're saying. All right, good for you.
Just like the woolly mammoths.
Yes.
All right, so the purpose of this presentation is to use our story to inspire you to take the next step in your financial journey. You may be trying to quit your job. You may be trying to make an extra $2K a month. You may be trying to scale to $1 million a month. Whatever it is, or you may be trying to just go to your first meetup. The purpose of this presentation is to just move that needle for you, to inspire you to do something that moves the needle in your financial journey. Our new purpose for Faster Freedom is to inspire you to think differently about freedom, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about real quick intro on Sam and myself. You probably know us a little bit by now if you're watching us on all platforms, but maybe not.
And not everything probably that we're going to quickly cover.
Yeah. So then we're going to talk about 4 big mistakes that we made and solutions and tips on how to avoid those. 3 tips for you guys to get started, and then 2 things that Sam and I are working on that you guys could implement in your business as well. And then we're going to get into 2024 market thoughts and predictions and how we're utilizing the market to tweak some of our investment strategies. Talk about some of Sam and I's big goals and our company's big goals as well. And then we'll get into Q&A.
Yeah, we're going to do a couple of Q&A on this.
Yeah.
So make sure to hang around through the whole thing because we're going to answer some questions at the end.
And drop some questions in there
as we get rolling.
Yeah,
for sure.
Is a property manager worth it? It's a great question. We're going to talk on property management here in a little bit.
For sure. Here you go, Walls.
Yeah, so this is myself, my family, my beautiful wife, Ashley, and then my 2 boys, my oldest son, Drake, and our youngest son, Dax. That is in Santa Rosa Beach right there, Sam.
Drake Rogers, and Daximus Prime.
Daximus Prime, those are great nicknames. I have my shoes off in the beach, and you'll see in a second in Sam's picture that
I have my shoes are off in the picture.
But anyway, I was local kid right here where we're shooting this. Sam was not born, but grew up like a mile away. I grew up like 12 miles away, so super close to here. Was an engineer. Went to school to be an engineer. Played a little basketball as well. Really enjoyed that. I learned how to think, but I do not use my engineering degree anymore, Sam.
You use some of the things and solving issues and solving problems like processes, but you don't use your actual engineering degree.
Yeah, and I was like a project manager for certain projects, so I was able to implement that when I was a project manager for us for a long time. So those skills definitely helped me jump into the real estate world. But Sam and I bought our first rental in 2014.
Going on a decade.
Yeah, I moved back home. So after school, I moved to a different city, got a job, and I moved back home because Sam and I wanted to get involved in the real estate. So moved back home, took another engineering job, moved in with my mother-in-law, and it was me, my future wife, my future mother-in-law, a few dogs, in a pretty compact house with 1 bathroom that we shared. So it was a little tight, and that's when I kind of really started making offers on properties. And my mother-in-law had her real estate license, Robin, shout out to Robin, and we would sit in her kitchen and make offers on real estate.
Can I tell a story?
Sure.
You know a story I'm going to tell, don't you?
Oh, God, I hope you don't tell this story.
I'm going to tell it.
Okay.
All right, so this is a great story. We should have said this on the presentation. Tyler and Shane, you better listen to this story. So Lucas was living at the house with his future mother-in-law and girlfriend, future wife.
Getting real vulnerable here.
And Lucas, was sleeping, got up in the middle of the night to go pee, and, went up to go pee, kind of groggy. I don't know if you're out drinking or not. It doesn't really matter. It was the middle of the night. You got up to go pee, and then you accidentally went into your mother-in-law's room rather than your room with Ashley. You were not wearing any clothes, and you realized you were in the wrong room, and you turn on the light. Your mother-in-law woke up, saw you naked, and you freaked out, and you left the room with the lights on. So your mother-in-law then had to was that a dream? Yes, it's obviously real because she had to get up, go turn off the lights, and go back to sleep after she just saw you naked. That happened?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Moving on. There's a banger right there, Prim. But anyway, so my future wife was like, we're not living in my mother-in-law's house while you're buying an investment property. So she's like, we have to buy our own house first. We did that in, I think, May of 2014, and then we closed on our first rental August of 2014, and then that rest is history.
We got popping pretty quick. Thank you, guys. Albuquerque says that. Yeah. I think he or she's talked about something else, but maybe talk about that story.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and Lucas, you think jeans can be worn multiple times before washing.
Facts. I don't think I know.
All right, quickly about me. My wife is Courtney. Maisie and Eliza are my beautiful daughters. I was born and raised in St. Charles as well. I went to college. Lucas and I went together for a few of the years, and I had a marketing degree. And my job was, or my degree was a little bit easier than Lucas's.
Yeah, I remember you like, I'm working on these like giant thesis projects and binders, and Sam comes home one day in like sweatpants, and his homework was like a freaking cardboard box with like something that
I had to make like a product or something and pretend to sell it. Yes. It was a master's, but yes. Anyways, though they're very different. I'm smarter than you, but it was also an easier degree. So that came with the territory. I remember Lucas would be like studying, and I would like distract him and his friends with like trying to get them to drink, and it would work pretty much every time. So maybe that's the reason you maybe I distract you a little bit. But anyways, I got into sales right out of college. Didn't really know what I was doing. Was able to kind of work my way up there. And Lucas and I, like he said, bought our first round in 2014. I went full time in 2018. So a little bit after Lucas, he made the leap before me, and that was part of the reason I did it, because I was like, I got to join this crazy man. And then I think that shoes are fine for the beach as long as you're not wearing socks. I think if you wear shoes like Sperry's, like boat shoes, to the beach, and then you get to your towel or your umbrella, it's fine. You take them off. You just wear them like sandals. You don't wear them in the water, but you wear them sometimes. We're in the water, but you don't wear them. You don't wear them. Only out of the sand.
Okay. Why did you cut off your feet in those?
That's the framing of the picture, Lucas. I'm not wearing tennis shoes there. There one time I had shoes and socks on, and Lucas had in his mind that like I wore socks on the beach. Like I took off my shoes.
Because you told me I don't like the feeling of sand.
Well, it's sand underneath your socks, even worse.
Way worse.
So yeah, so Lucas thought I like walked around in tube socks on the beach in my bathing suit.
Well, you have.
No, I've never done that. I had shoes on. All right. Go ahead, Walls.
Yeah, this is a snapshot of our business. We got 45 amazing team members. That P logo is actually PC, and it doesn't stand for politically correct. It stands for Prosper Companies.
We avoid politics at all costs,
yes,
not even the word politically correct.
So Prosper Companies is our parent company here, and those divisions under it are all part of that company. So our three main divisions are FasterFreedom, which is probably how you guys know of us and know of Sam. It's our education company. We have 2 million followers on TikTok, over 550 on Instagram, 300 plus on Facebook, and approaching that 100,000 mark on YouTube, which is super cool.
We're like 97 now. A couple more will get our plaque. Will go somewhere behind us.
Yeah, so we have an awesome community of students that pay to be a part of the community, then get extreme value in return as far as like strategic guiding, and also just to be a part of a community. And we have like 10 weekly calls, give or take, with 1,600 students nationwide that own $200 million worth of real estate right now.
We screwed up. I have it written at the very top. A part of that really quick before we go into Midwest Property Group. Yeah. Tomorrow, Thursday, at the 22nd of February, we're watching the recording, and it's tomorrow. You can still attend 7 o'clock Central. I'm doing my first ever live webinar. I do webinars every other month. They're closed circuit. They're on Webinar Jam. You have to register and get emails and attend via a Zoom link kind of thing. But tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central, I'm doing the first ever live stream social media webinar where I'm going to talk about how to buy your first rental. We're giving away $10,000 in cash and prizes. It's from 7 to 8 tomorrow Central. It's going to be live streamed on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So attend. You're going to learn how to buy your first rental. We're giving away over $10,000 in prizes. Every 15 minutes, we're giving away a prize. And then at the end, it's going to be over $10,000 in cash and prize. We're giving away $1,000 cash.
That's fun.
So anyways, people are going to learn a ton.
Yeah, I love it. So that's our education company, FasterFreedom. So Midwest Property Group is our rental company. That's kind of where it all started for Sam and I back in 2014. So coming up on 10 years now. That was the company that we founded, and it's our oldest running company. So 150 single-family homes. We built that up to 6 apartment complexes, 3 storage facilities, up to 25 short-term rentals with some midterms mixed in there, pushing about $50 million in assets right now. So got a lot of good equity, still working through kinks on property management and growing a rental portfolio. Similar struggles to what we had when we had 10 and growing to 20. We have those same struggles as we grow, but we're continuing to dial it in. And then Faster House. So Faster House has been around since 2002. We partnered with our old partner on that, Brian Schroeder, and in 2018, and then Sam and I bought Brian out as he's moving on to bigger and better things for himself in 2022, a couple of years ago. So we flip houses, about 250, give or take, here in the greater St. Louis area. That's where we find assets for our rental property to keep, and we also fix and flip. We also wholesale to other local investors who are building their rental portfolio and are doing fix and flips themselves. So super cool businesses. We started, Midwest and Midwest and Faster House, and got really good at those before we decided to start an education company and teach, and that's FasterFreedom. Yes,
for sure. So let us know where you're from, and keep the comments coming. We will get to them probably not during the presentation, but after for sure. And at this point, Lucas, Timothy, Walls, they still think we're pretty smart. That may change as we go through the rest of this presentation. This is the high point of you thinking that we know what we're doing, because that's all about to change.
Yeah, we didn't want to just start with the mistakes right off the jump. We do know what we're doing a little bit.
To a certain degree. Yeah. All right, let's get into the mistakes. We learn from failure, not success. I love that quote. All right, so mistake number 1. We did not ask for enough money from private lenders on projects, which leads to a very, very negative domino effect. You may not think that it's a big deal, the fact that we didn't raise enough money. That may sound like inconsequential, or that may sound like like, okay, whatever. No. The effects of this mistake we are still feeling to this day. Legitimately, it affects our entire business. We'll get into, but this is the number one and worst mistake we have, is not raising enough money. We've done it over and over, and it's costed us dearly. I would go so far to say, Lucas, if we did not have multiple businesses, we would be in a lot of trouble.
For sure.
A lot of trouble financially if we didn't have multiple businesses. This is a huge mistake for us, and this applies to brand new investors. This can stop you from starting,
for sure,
even before you get started. So this one is freaking huge.
Freaking huge. Give it to them.
That's what she said.
So quick example of a big example, right? And this can be applied on a much smaller scale, as Sam was talking about, but it was a big example for us. This is a 42-pack of single-family houses that we bought about 2 years ago, and they were occupied, but they needed a little bit of work. So Sam and I, real quick, we found this from a tired landlord. He's probably 70-something, just looking to get out.
For sure. Well, he was probably 70-something, but I could see him. I liked him, but I could see him being like 65 and just looking older.
Yeah, for sure, because he managed all these hands-on. He lived right down the street. And it was his nest egg. It was his bread and butter, and this is a retirement. He was able to do that because we gave him $3.55 million, because he's accumulated these, over the last 20, 30 years. So they're all paid off. So we met this guy probably back in 2020, and he wanted $3.55 million for it. We're like, yeah, we weren't willing to stretch on those. We didn't think the values were quite there in this area. We kind of recirculated this project in 2021. Values weren't quite there yet, but by the time 2022 came around, there has been so much appreciation where his $3.55 million did not move as an asking price, and it made sense from a discount percentage because they were worth so much. So that was super cool. We were able to follow up and keep in touch with him and help him out, and then also get 42 houses in the meantime. But bought these for $3.55 million. We had an estimated rehab about $400,000, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Was that about right?
No, gosh, that was like, what were we thinking? Like, looking back, we look so stupid.
That's like not even $10,000 a house.
I forgot to mention most of these mistakes are Lucas's.
Yeah, you did forget to mention that. All right. Well, anyway, deal structure before we get into the exact mistake. $950,000 we loaned or lent. Borrowed from a private lender.
Exact opposite of what
I know
you're
that's a
saying.
big number, but we've been doing this for a decade now, so we built some trust and some stuff up that we were able to get that from a private lender. 15% down payment for our bank. So we used that $950 to put down 15% on the $3.55 million and have about that $400,000, give or take, left over. Then we ran out of money pretty quickly in about 6 months. This was a 2-year project from the beginning.
Yeah,
we're
so
coming up on
our timeline's a little bit off.
No, it's about right.
How many projects do we have left to rehab? How many houses?
I think Froc's working on that right now with exact numbers.
Like 15?
Big rehabs, not that much. Like the ones that we haven't touched are the ones in good condition.
Okay.
And we thought all of those were like that.
We were wrong.
So we ran out of money very quickly in like the first 25% of this project's time frame. We ran out of money. So we went and got $200,000 more from our PL, burned through that. And it's not like we're burning through it and wasting it. We are dumping this into these houses.
We're adding value. We're doing things the right. The execution was fine. We just didn't raise enough freaking money.
Yeah. So went through that and then went to a bank for a $300,000 construction loan. Went through that pretty quick, and we're currently in the tail ends of our last $300,000 construction loan that we're able to get with the bank, and we're pretty much out of that and got to figure out what to do.
Don't give Lucas money. He's going to spend it.
He's going to spend it on good things, though, on assets, not liabilities.
For the most part. And anybody on here can comment the word live if you're on Instagram and Facebook, and you will get sent the reminder for tomorrow's webinar. Webinar, 7 o'clock Central, live on social media. All right. So walls.
Yeah, man.
So those were that's the kind of deal breakdown.
Yeah, look at those. I mean, look at that house. Like, we thought that needed $8,000.
Yeah. We that was this part of the stipulation of buying it for sure.
You can see right through that wall, Prim. You can run through that.
You can run through that wall. So T, you're gonna have to hit the next. My clicker's not going next. All right, so issues that this caused, again, this may not seem like a huge deal, but it is. So this depleted our cash. This depleted our money that we raised. This depleted our, reserves that we had that were, earmarked for taxes or other things or maintenance or just having reserves. This is making us rush our refinance. There's a ton of equity in this deal, but we're running out of money, so we're going to have to refinance faster when rates are higher than we wanted. Like, if we crush this and raise the right amount of money, we'd probably wait till the fall to refinance, but we didn't, and we have to refinance earlier. Potentially, we lost some trust with this private lender. He gave us $1.2-ish million, and I asked him for more, and he didn't even respond, so I don't think he's happy with us. But anyways, he's going to get his money back plus an incredible return.
Love you, Aaron.
But we definitely lost some trust. Construction bottleneck, this one's a huge one to me. So we have limited financial and resources to rehab. We rehab 60 houses a year in one company. We do turns and rehab 30 or 40, maybe more of our rentals. So that we do over 100 flips a year. We don't have unlimited resources. The fact that we're spending so much of our contractors' time on these projects, we're not able to rehab other ones we want, or things go slower. So this just eats up our holding costs, eats up everything. And then high vacancy. We're not collecting any cash when we're working on 8 rehabs at a house. So this is just the ripple effects and the lost cash and the lost potential revenue as several $100,000, in my opinion, on this one product. So I saw some people commenting live, love it. So that's the one issue. All right, then we're back. I can control it now to York. I don't know if it was moved over. But anyways, it's up to you, walls.
Beautiful. So those were the issues, and some of the lessons learned we encountered from this project is to walk every house. One of the stipulations was to buy this. There was a few houses, I think there was 8 that we couldn't get into. We couldn't walk. We're okay with going under contract on something if you're able to have some sort of inspection period where you can physically get in there, or someone you really trust is able to get in. There was 8 of these, so that's 20% of them, give or take, that we were not able to get in ever before we closed on this deal.
And that just made me think, Lucas, I'm pretty sure we did a $50,000 non-refundable earnest deposit check after walking 5.
Yeah.
The owner didn't want everybody to know he owns half the neighborhood that he was selling, so he's like, I'll get you in 5, and you have to do a $50,000 non-refundable deposit. So again, $50,000 would have been the end of the road to walk away from, but we got it under contract after walking 5 of the 42, and then we were after under contract the due diligence period, which was quick. We didn't even get in all of them. Mm-hmm. We weren't even able to get in all of them before we closed. So anyways, I forgot about that till right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he didn't, not necessarily not like us, but he's been jaded because he got pulled in a lot of weird directions by other wholesalers that didn't close. He's been under contract 2 or 3 or 4 times on this thing, and someone was not able to perform, so he had a pretty sour taste in his mouth about investors. So he started off really, really kind of grouchy with us, which is fine, but then, as he saw that we're able to perform throughout this under contract phase, he got a little more open. But we were not able to get in every house, so we should have put a detailed rehab budget together. We did not.
I did.
You did on a napkin.
Yep.
I wouldn't consider that detailed, Sam. You're like 1402, $7,000.
Boom. How much more do you want,
and then
Lucas?
You got 3 pictures of the house. So more detailed budget, and the ones that we couldn't get in, they needed to be super conservative. These that have to have the works. We just have to think that way. That's why we can't get in those, obviously. I don't know why we were so silly. And then raise more than you think, have some sort of large construction contingency on here, whether
Okay.
it's 20 or 30%, raise way more than you think. I would rather have that cash sitting in an account and not use it and pay a little extra interest on it than run out of money and have to dip into your personal cash or cash flow of your other assets to be able to finish the rehab projects.
Agreed. All right, so some silver linings. Again, this is mistake one, example one. We have more examples and more mistakes. So we got rents up faster than anticipated. There was collecting on 42 houses about $30,000 a month in rent, so very low rent. We got it pretty quickly up to $50,000 of rent. We worked with the local Section 8 NECAC authorities. We're able to get market rent, which the old owner did not do. On the rehab units, we're able to double rent because he was half of market rent, so that was part of the reason we bought it. So we increased $20,000 of gross income every single month, very quickly, within probably 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
The ability to pull out. So there's a ton of equity in here. Like I said, we're actually restricted on how much equity we can pull out because of the cash flow, because of the formulas, the debt service coverage ratio. So there's a ton of equity in there. We're probably gonna be able to pull out a few $100,000 to hopefully finish the rehabs or pay off some lenders, because we'll be all in for about 4.9, let's say 5 to be conservative, and it should be worth 7.5 million. So we should have $2.5 million in equity in a deal that we massively screwed up on. So this shows the power, in my opinion, of buying assets at the right price. You can screw up a lot and have a lot of mistakes and still probably end up okay.
For sure. Love it, man.
So what do you guys think about that mistake? Let us know what you think about that in the chat box.
Yeah, we're going to keep talking about this deal because we are pushing towards the final stages of this project, and we're going to refinance and pull out some tax-free cash, hopefully, to finish up those construction projects. So come along for the ride because we're not done with that one.
Nope, we're going to keep talking about it. So let us know what you think about 42 houses in one neighborhood, a lot of equity, and then execution wasn't the best.
All right. Example number 2 of not raising enough money was another kind of large-scale project for us. So first of all, going back to that other one, Sam, we raised $400,000, and what do you think we're going to spend on that 42-pack construction?
I mean, we're going to spend probably like $1.5 million.
Yeah.
So we were off $1 million.
Yeah. Is that good?
What do you think about this one? How much are we going to be off on this one?
Less, but still kind of similar, right? This is a big construction project. We're going to end up spending probably what is this? Probably 1.1 million, give or take 1.2 on this, and we had to increase construction lines along the way, as you'll see. But this is about 4 hours away from where Sam and I live and where our
20
office
minutes
is.
or 25 minutes
or 25 minutes if you're utilizing a private jet, which we've done twice to Branson, and it's a hop, skip, and a jump. It's very nice.
After we fly, we're going to buy one. Then we look at numbers and we're like, we can't buy one. We can't afford one right now.
Not yet.
No.
Maybe some more assets and cash flow. But anyway, this was a cool deal because the previous owners bought it. Go back to those old pictures real quick, Sam.
Yes, sir.
I just
demanding.
So they bought this with the intent to make it into like a dinosaur theme park type of thing.
You said dino a lot of presentation. I almost said something like you said dino like a ton of times, not dinosaur, like just abbreviate.
I just abbreviated that one.
Yep.
I just felt right.
And you went on it. You're saying dinosaur, I think is a better way to say it.
Dinosaur theme park of some sort. So dino theme. So there it is.
Yeah, there it is. She's back.
Dinosaur themed like motel is what it was. You can see that T-Rex in the bottom of the corner. That is a life-size T-Rex skeleton. Not necessarily the skeleton, but a skeleton replica.
Yeah.
And I mean, to buy that, I don't even know.
I think is that called a fossil? I guess it's a skeleton. When it's together, it's a skeleton. When it's separate, it's a fossil.
Great question. Fossil's probably buried in
Or is
the ground?
fossil the imprint of a bone on a stone?
Great point.
Are you grown? Should have known.
I'm on my throne.
You better not blown this.
But we did blow all this money.
All right, go.
Now
Gosh, we just rip it. I don't know why we have millions of viewers.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the resort, Table Rock Lake, 4 hours away, dino theme resort. We did not want to keep it that, so we decided to come up with a construction plan. So we bought this for $850,000. When we flew down there the first time and we wrote our construction costs on the back of a napkin again, it was about $400,000.
Yep.
But luckily we didn't send that to the bank right away, but pretty soon after that,
we bumped it.
We bumped it up like mid process. So we learned a little bit on this one, but not everything. So our initial bank construction loan was $700,000. So the deal structure was we got $400,000 from private lenders, had 20% for down payment of everything, and then had a little bit in reserves. We needed to add $200,000 in construction loans, so bumped it up to $900,000. Unfortunately, in order to have another $200,000 of construction loan, you got to put another 20% down cash. So didn't want to dip into more of our operating funds that we already did from the 42 packs. So we raised another $40,000 from private lenders. Unfortunately, we ran out of that money and needed more construction.
Didn't we do this 2 more times? You just wasn't on here because we ended up getting $40,000 from all four private lenders. Right?
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
So we could have doubled those bottom 2.
Yeah, but and then we went up to $1.1 million as our final budget, and it looks like we're going to be about $50,000 over that, $60,000 over that. So we're close. We're getting dialed in, but we still didn't raise enough. We had to go back to the bank 2 separate times. We had to go back to our private lenders multiple times. It was just a freaking mess. If we would have dialed this in and raised more than we thought initially, we would have been in a much better spot.
And something we didn't do was we didn't raise enough money for the holding costs either. But yeah, if you're just joining, let us know where you're from. We're talking about our biggest screw ups that have cost us several hundred, if not millions of dollars. All right, some issues that this caused, this delayed opening. So we are not opening until a couple weeks from now, or March 1st we're opening. So next week, week and a half we're opening, which is awesome. However, we were hoping to open in October, then November, take advantage of some of the holiday season down there.
Man.
So it has been, but we missed out on $50,000 in rent probably in November and December minimum. So we missed out on some rent to help with the holding costs. So doing all this and screwing up and taking the time to do the draws and everything cost us delayed opening, delayed construction draws, as I mentioned, which I'm sure upset the construction companies to a certain degree. We lost some possible trust with the bank and the lenders. Again, the fact that we're vulnerable and honest, we've had private lenders come up to us after this presentation and say they wanted to give us money for some reason. But anyways, yeah, it definitely caused some issues. Again, this one, not near as big in my opinion as the last one, but similar. This put us in a tight position cash-wise and kind of took a lot of our cash resources away.
Yeah, we did it much better. We had a better team in place when we bought this, but still a lot of learning lessons. So due diligence on this, we only flew down that one time for due diligence and hired a couple local contractors for some of the rest, but we needed to lean on experts more. There's things in this part of the country that we don't have up here in St. Louis. So like wells and holding tanks and water purification systems. So septic. So very, very interesting that we had to end up buying a whole new like $20,000 water holding tank that we didn't even know what that was. So unique. We should have hired a few more experts during the inspection period and lengthened that inspection period. And we should have got there when it rained. Like we thought we had budgeted about $15-20 for construction for the parking lot ceiling and striping, and the thing was a drainage nightmare. It was holding a whole bunch of water, causing the asphalt to fall apart. So we ended up having to demo all the asphalt for the entire parking lot, regrade it, put some drainage under it, and pour new asphalt and then stripe it. So that was about a $100,000 mistake right there. So always raise more. We talk about that, but also swing big and big shit happens.
I remember the analogy I made up. You can't hit a home run with your bat on your shoulder. I made that up. Apparently Luke said that was already a phrase, but I didn't hear it. All right, so some silver linings of this one. We added wheelchair accessible units, so we widened the door, widened the bathroom, a lot of different things. So just a differentiation piece down there. Not many, especially our price point, places are going to have that for us, so that hopefully we can fill that with some people that are fortunate to be able to have that offered from us. Again, there's going to be plenty of equity where we should be all in for we are going to be all in for around $2 million, and depending on how much revenue we bring in, I think it's going to be worth $3 to $3.5 million. So not quite $2.5 million in equity, but 1.5. So similar amount for the dollar amount. It's probably similar percentage of equity.
Yeah, better cash flow though, right?
Better cash flow. And then I'm super conservative here, but we're expecting about $25,000 a month cash flow net after everything. Obviously more expenses, but the cash flow is way higher, way more net income. To put that into perspective, if we were to buy an apartment complex in St. Louis for $2 million, all in for $2 million, I would expect $8 to $10,000 a month net cash flow. It should be double, if not triple, that with the cash flow. And then we flew a private jet down there a couple times to save time, to save our team members and us having to travel for 2 days and just do it all in one day. It made us super efficient, and we got a jet membership because we can't afford a jet. anytime sooner right now, but a jet membership is just a little bit more affordable option because flying private is so much better.
Yeah, I think it just forced us to think bigger and better and more efficient is what I think it did.
I like that.
All right, so mistake number 2, accounting woes. There's my man Drake there. We saw him live last
Running through
week.
the 6 with my woes.
So, yeah, we had to put that quote in there for this presentation. But, yeah, we've had some struggle with accounting just from a personnel standpoint, but also, the type of things that we're doing would be a struggle for any accounting team. So we bought $25 million in rentals in a 15-month span. I would say that was like, 21, 22?
21, yeah, somewhere in 21 to somewhere in 22.
Yeah, 15-month span. So just adding that much, and a lot of that was a value add flavor, so a lot of construction going on. And then we also got real bullish on the market and scaled our flipping company to 312 house buys in 2022. So our margins kind of eroded and kind of but the issue started before we scaled. Sam, do you want to talk about a quick story?
Sure. And day lease, definitely private. Keep that question there or ask it again when we get to the Q&A section at the end. That's a good one about private lenders. So Lucas and I have not been good in taking accounting seriously. We're like, it's a good deal. We'll figure it all out later. And it's worked out well for the most part. We're kind of reaping the sour grapes of that sow. Reaping what you sow, sour grapes. See what I did there?
I did. I don't think that was the correct order to say.
Well, I know I said it in the wrong order because I made it another original.
There we go.
Hashtag original. All right. So I remember this very clearly. I had just quit my job. So it was June of 2018. We were sitting in our old office with Lucas, myself, and our accounting CPA buddy, who's now our CFO, and we were going over January of 2017 taxes. So we were going over like bank recs of what charges went to what properties for 16 months prior. We had no idea what we were doing. And Lucas is like, you guys got this. And Danny, who's like the nicest, like most like servant type of person, like wants to do whatever he can to make you comfortable, said, Lucas, if you leave right now, I'm quitting.
Because he was stuck with you. He's like, he can't.
That's not why. It's because he was like, no, this is horrible. You have to be here and hate this with us. And you did, and you stayed.
I did. I canceled my appointment or something.
Yes, you heard, you judged from his tone that he was serious.
Yeah.
So good job. Yeah. All right, so some issues this caused. We spend way too much money on taxes because we didn't have our more on this in a minute, but we didn't have our ducks in a row. If you have your expenses right, if you have the right allocations, if you're able to write the right things off, if you're able to capitalize the right things, you can pay a lot less in taxes as opposed to you catching up. So we overpaid probably a few $100,000 in taxes. Irritations from private lenders, not because we weren't giving them their money back, but because we didn't have all our ducks in a row to give them their K-1s or whatever was needed on time. So for a year or two, they had to delay their taxes because we didn't give them what they needed to finish their taxes. That's super frustrating. I'd be like, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they were.
Yeah, they did. And then bank approval delays. So at the beginning of the year, most of these small local banks will meet as a board. They'll be like, yeah, Sam and Lucas, they've done this, and we got their tax returns. Let's give them another $2 million guidance line, meaning we can do $2 million more in loans or $500,000 more in loans. We couldn't get those approvals because we did not give them the tax documents on time because we were filing our taxes in September or October. And then we had a lack of understanding of our current cash flow and cash position. You can make a lot of money and go out of business if you're not netting enough at the bottom line, and if your numbers are everywhere, you don't know that. So this was bad, and we're still kind of crawling out of this hole right now.
For sure. In real estate, if you're fix and flipping or doing value-add rentals, it's important to account for construction. Like Sam was talking about, you can net $50,000 a month and go out of business because you spent $100,000 a month in construction that month. So figuring out a way to separate construction from your stabilized portfolio is something we're going through right now and trying to figure out that.
We're digging in deep, which Lucas knows nothing about.
No. All right. Lessons learned. Yeah. So clean books allowed for maximum deductions. So I talk about this all the time, but at the end of the year is not the right time to properly allocate your expenses, right? Best is simultaneously. Soon as that expense is incurred or soon as that income is received, record it, right? Next best is at the end of each day. I think okay is at the end of each week. And absolutely positively this is for when you just get started, by the way, not when you have a 20-person business.
And it's easier when you get started, but a little more discipline at first, but then it gets so much easier.
This
when you
is
just have a couple.
solopreneur. Absolute latest is every single month make sure expenses are
Not
categorized.
15 months later?
Not 15 months later
Okay.
like we were. RE focused tax partner that prioritizes you and wants to help you succeed, but understands the real estate tax strategies, which are much different than a lot of other tax strategies out there. Tax books versus true cash flow. We talked about that a little bit already. Mistakes compound. We talked about mistakes from our number one mistakes, and dipping into cash flow and using profits for projects is not necessarily the best thing to do. And we just kind of realized you can only grow as fast as your accounting team.
Or you can outgrow your accounting team and pick up the freaking pieces. One of the two.
Yeah, which is what we did. So we're trying to get to a point where our accounting team is stabilized and strong, and stronger and more well-rounded than the rest of our business, so the accounting team can push our businesses in a certain direction instead of the other way around.
I love it. Awesome. So some silver linings from this. Our accounting department is very, very strong right now. We are probably over. We probably have a little bit heavy of a team, but we'd rather have it this way so we can grow into it. And the accounting staff right now is working on knowing every single number so we can make financial informed decisions and kind of predict things and not be always reacting. We want the finance team, and we are getting there, to say, hey, your revenue's this. Hey, listen up, you mother. Okay, sorry. You scared me a little bit. All right. So, sorry if that was loud. So we want our accounting department to say, hey, your margins are this. If you want to get into this, you have to increase your top line here, cut your expenses here. Like, we want to be told what to do from the accounting staff. So we have a CFO now, a controller, a staff accountant, and an accounting clerk. So we have a very strong accounting team. We're paying much less in taxes. We used to pay ahead of time and pay way too much. We made the most money we've ever made, and it's not really even close, in 2022, when we paid zero in taxes. In fact, we got a big return because we had paid so much from before. So and we did everything by the book. We probably weren't even on an aggressive scale 10 as far as tax wise. So it's probably like a 7 or 8. We did all things legally, but we're able to pay no taxes, which is awesome. And then the finance team, again, I alluded to, will be able to push the business. And then it's been the other way around. It's been just totally reactionary. We want it to be proactive, not reactive.
Yep. Awesome. So that was mistake. Mistake 1 was not raising enough money, ran out of money for construction funds. Mistake 2 was kind of related to that, but more on the specific accounting side. And mistake 3, self-storage.
Let us know which is your favorite mistake so far. 1 or 2, comment that in the chat box. 1 or 2, give them the 1s and the 2s.
Yeah. So self-storage. So we bought a couple self-storage facilities. We thought it was a good idea. We're like, oh, yeah, that's a great investment class. And so we made it happen. The first one, when we dipped our toe into it, was brought to us by a real estate agent. It was a listed property. It was right before COVID. We made an offer. They didn't take it. It was too high. Then COVID hit, and then they were like, okay, yeah, we'll take it now. It's just a mom and pop type organization. We'll get into that example. Did we talk about that example, Sam? Yeah, I think we do talk about that example, right? But anyway, we bought that one, and we're going to get into that as our example. And then before we even figured out that was a good investment for us, and that's the key, is for us. Like, I believe in self-storage.
Yeah, it's a great asset class. Just not for us.
If you're not set up to manage it properly, or included in your due diligence cost for a third-party management company, then it's not going to work. So just like every asset class, if it's not managed properly, it could be the best investment in the world and not work. So
Never Slippin' said his favorite mistake was number 2, and Tyler Dork said his mistake was number 1.
Nice. Dork.
I'm funny.
Anyway,
we've known this for a while.
So before we figured out if this was a good investment, we bought another self-storage.
Yeah. So to kind of round that out, so we bought. We weren't even looking for self-storage. We unintentionally got a self-storage unit before we even finalized that project. We decided to, revamp it, build several more buildings, and we bought another apartment complex with another planned development, all before the first one was proven.
Revamped. So this is that first one we bought that we talked about. As you can see, there was about 3 existing buildings, about 66 units. So our plan was to build 2 more buildings on that left parcel, where the buildings already are, and we did that, and then we painted the old buildings to match, and that actually went really well for us.
Yeah, we did good. That's pretty easy. That's like a house almost, where you have kind of similar feel.
Yeah, very, very simple project. Just needed a concrete slab, and then find the right source for these metal buildings, which we did, and then kind of assembled them all. So that went well. And then we went over to the raw land portion of this.
About 2 acres.
About 2 acres, and our plan was to kind of grade it all out, create a gravel over-the-road boat and RV storage. So that was our plan. We'll kind of get into how that plan went here in a second. But super cheap asset, $400,000. And we raised we needed $450 for construction on this. So we did construction with the bank and then raised 20% from our private lenders. And we actually did not go over budget on this one. So it's not an example from mistake number one. But that's kind of how we structured this deal. And we'll get into some mistakes here.
Never slipping in the club. Must not go to places that have messy drinkers. Must be very clean clubs, right?
Yeah, or those like non-stick shoes that like servers wear.
Yeah. Do servers wear non-stick shoes? Don't they just wear like white or black New Balances?
Applebee's knows.
Oh, Applebee's knows.
Do they wear non-sticks? Bro.
Don't freaking know.
Non-slips, yeah. My bad, yeah.
All right, okay. So some issues that this caused was construction fails. So we're just jumped to that. So we built those first 2 buildings. We did everything right, got builder's risk insurance and all this stuff, and did everything the right way. And then we decided because we're so good at this, instead of do over-the-road boat and RV outdoor storage, let's build a 255-foot long, 20-foot high building to do indoor boat and RV storage. It has to put a whole RV or a whole boat inside of this. So we were doing that. It's a different process to build a 2.5-story building, 2-story building. So during that process, we created basically wind tunnels by putting the intersections together, and it blew out the back wall once, and then another storm came and it blew out the back wall again, and then a third time this building blew over 3 times, and the third time was the kind of straw that broke the camel's back. We got a text from one of our buddies. It was in the city's Facebook group, and it was a big storm. It wasn't a tornado or anything, but strong winds, and our building was across the road. It could have hit a car. Luckily, no one was out during that storm, but it was a nightmare. So we ended up just tearing down the building, and we're like, let's just tear it down. Let's just get the insurance for it, get our money back and just do over-the-road boat and RV. But however, Lucas made the mistake of putting me in charge of insurance, and I did not give the builder's risk insurance policy on that third building because we did it after the fact. It was kind of like we already had insurance set up, and honestly, I don't think I even thought about it or knew that you had to do it per building. I just thought maybe it was site-wide, probably. Yeah. It's not. So anyways, it blew over 3 times, not good, and it ended up costing about $150,000 because all the material labors that we couldn't sell and everything, it was wasted. So now we have this really nice concrete pad underneath rock that cars and boats and RVs park on.
Man, we've lost a lot of money so far in this presentation.
We have.
Most of the gurus talk about all the money that they make, but joke's on them.
Oh, joke's on you guys. It's no fun to listen to that.
It's no fun to make money all the time. It's more fun to lose it. That's where the lessons come from, though, for sure.
Well, people are lying.
Yeah.
So we lost management focus. We were distracted. We were doing other things. The biggest reason this failed is because Luke and I took our eye off the ball. This was at the time we were scaling 23 other $1 million worth of real estate. Our flipping company bought 312 houses in 2022. So that was the max height of everything. The market hadn't quite turned yet. So we were just we're making so much money, having so much success over here. Self-storage, there's not huge margins there. So let's just kind of let that thing work itself out. And it did not.
No. All right. So lessons learned. Can't be good at everything. We talked about this a lot. We kind of are shifting our investment strategy to what we're good at managing and what we know how to manage. And I think you can get good at everything, not everything. You can get good at certain things, but you got to choose what you want to be good, want to get good at. So we could have chosen to get good at self-management, and we still might, but we need to have way more intentionality and focus directed towards that. Yep, and third-party management help. So this is what we kind of decided, that we either need to outsource this to maximize this asset, or we need to hire a dedicated team member in-house to, like I said, with that intentionality that solely focuses on this.
That's what we're kind of learning right now, for sure.
So that particular mistake didn't have a silver lining.
No, there's
yet.
No happy ending to that.
Maybe next year we'll have a silver lining.
I mean,
I hope so.
I think best case scenario is we don't lose money.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, and that's the best case scenario. And the other ones is we make tens of thousands of dollars a month. We have millions of dollars in equity. Worst case scenario of those is we make a little less and have a ton of equity. Those are okay. This one, there's honestly, best case scenario is we lose $50,000 probably.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Being honest with you, do you want honesty or what do you want, Lucas?
Optimism is what I want.
Yeah,
to say.
that's you.
Yeah.
Oh no, you have plenty of that. We need to curb that a little bit for you. All right, mistake number 4. We zigged when we should have zagged. So a little joke there. You can see that we just have bad timing. Yeah, we did have bad timing, and it was our fault. So from Q4 of 2022, the end of all the run that we had with the growing and everything, the timing, like I just talked about this last night, Lucas, with Courtney. I was like, we're gonna look back and be like, duh, you guys, like, it's like, that's why I'm not like losing sleep, because I think it's a normal business cycle. Businesses grow, they expand, they grow too quickly, they don't manage their cash well, they're like, the market's good, and then they kind of get hit in the face, and some businesses like fold, or most businesses like adapt and grow, and that's what we're doing right now. So anyways, from the end of our good run, from end of 2022 to the end of Q1 of 2023, our flipping company lost $300,000. Not like on like, we're able to squeeze some money out somewhere else. No, like we lost $300,000 when we were expecting to probably make $300,000. So we had a $600,000 negative delta than what we were projecting. We ballooned up and we're ready to scale. We bought 312 houses in 2022. We had the team in place in 2023 to buy 450 houses, and we bought 165, 168, whatever it was, because the market shifted. We got overconfident. I don't think we're ever like cocky about it. We don't think we know everything. We knew we weren't perfect, but we just were confident that it was going to continue to work its way out. I don't think we're cocky. And then stubborn. We just held on to properties too long. Hey, we can sell this and lose $5,000. No, let's hold on to it for 6 more months because we think it's going to turn, and we end up losing $20,000 because of holding costs. So that's all happened, right?
Yep.
That's not good, right?
No, it's not good. That's why they're mistakes.
Okay.
All right, lessons learned. So understand the market, but don't try to control it. Take what the market gives you. So we shifted. We used to wholesale a lot of houses to landlords who could go and execute the BRRRR strategy and cash flow and all that stuff. But as the interest rates rose, those BRRRR deals kind of dried up. They're still out there, don't get me wrong, but it's harder to cash flow on rental properties. So kind of our investors shift their model, and a lot more fix and flip people. So we kind of have to shift our acquisition model to give the people what they wanted in more fix and flip type products. So and then we did more fix and flipping ourselves and took down more deals and took them to the retail market, which has helped us out a lot because we were able to kind of grow our profit per deal much higher than it was in 2022 and 2021. So we're able to survive and be semi-profitable on much less deal volume.
Love it.
So that's kind of.
We're going to dig in a little bit more. That's like kind of what we learned. We're going to dig a little more at the end because we still got a ways to go. A lot, and all the positives, the rest of it. Told T-York we're going to skip riddle and true or false. I still want to get your viral though because we're going to be here for a little bit.
All right.
So so we're going to dig into a little bit of like what we're actually implementing now, because like we're not perfect, but I think we have a good feel for the market and a good feel for what we know. So those are our mistakes, Walls. I don't know. Can somebody do the math of how much money that was?
A lot.
I would say, honestly, I'm not trying. This isn't not a brag, but like potential money gained and money lost combined is well over $1 million.
Yeah, I agree.
Yay! We're not like that like wealthy to be like just $1 million bucks. See you 1.5 million.
Not yet.
Not yet. I don't know that I'll ever be happy with that. Be cool to be like at 1.5 million. No big deal.
Here you go.
Not that now. All right. So let's talk about the first 3 steps for brand new real estate investors. So there's no elevators to success, only stairs. You have to take certain steps. Gina said her favorite for sharing mistakes was mistake 3. You had, like, what's your favorite screw up? That's like, is that an oxymoron?
Yeah,
My
kinda.
favorite bad,
Yeah.
the good bad. Thank you. Let us know your favorite mistake if you didn't, and make sure you're letting us know where you're from. We love to see where everybody's from. So, all right. So these are the first 3 steps for a brand new real estate investor. The very first 3 things to do if you want to be successful, in my opinion. I don't like people that speak in absolutes. That's one of my few pet peeves. I hate people that say it's the only way to do it. However, talking out of the other side of my mouth, I do think that these are 3 foundational things that everybody can build a foundation with and then go do what you want and navigate it how you want. But I think these are all pretty paramount if you want to be successful. If you want to get stronger, you kind of have to lift heavy things. It's not like one of those things where you can
every day.
Yeah. So that's kind of a similar thing here. So there's a lot of different ways to work out, but if you want to build muscle, you have to. So similar thing here. So step number 1, in my opinion, is get a baseline understanding of knowledge. You have to understand what you're talking about, no matter your industry. But if you want to absorb step 2 and 3, which Luke and I are getting ready to break down, you have to understand the difference in assignment and double close. What's an ARV? What is flipping versus wholesaling?
How to estimate a rehab.
How to estimate, like just the simple terminology, verbiage, as well as simple steps, so that when you're in conversations and learning the next 2 steps, you're able to absorb it. And it is insane the type of, resources that are out there right now. When we got started, it was legitimately just bigger pockets.
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't kind of
Which
where
was a big help.
Yeah, it was a big help, but it was
Not what it's like today, though.
Oh, with our resources, the YouTube, the podcast.
With that, you just kind of got to take what's given to you back in the day. With now, you can have so much focused searches that can tell you exactly what type of problem or strategy you're working on.
100% agree. So there's so many resources right now that I think that you don't really have an excuse to not get at least a base level of knowledge. So we got the podcast, this YouTube. We're on both. You're gonna learn a lot from this. We've had people that have messaged us, be like, "Wow, I learned so much for free from this, super high value." So use our resources. There's a ton of other great ones out there. We are getting into a kind of a tipping point, I feel like, with social media. That's tipping, and people and gurus of we're getting pretty ridiculous with the fake gurus and the people that see dollars and don't know what they're talking about. So be careful who you follow, but there are great ones out there besides us, but you're going to get the real shit from us, I promise. And then you're here already, but just remind you, this is every Wednesday and Friday from 1:30 to 3. If we get enough traction, I might make it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but 90 minutes twice a week. We have guests and production. This is we put a lot of money into this, and you can learn a lot from it for free. So make sure you're setting your alarm or knowing that every Wednesday and Friday we're going live.
Yeah, so you're learning a lot, and then the next level is community. Surround yourself with people who are going to hold you accountable and elevate you to another level, right? That could be your family, your friends, your real estate investment community, but understanding that you don't have to go into this alone, and then also lean on your resources around you, I think is going to be a big help as you grow. Learn and connect with others is definitely not my strong suit.
I think you're fine at it. I just don't think you like to do it. I think when you do it, you do a good job.
Yes.
You just don't prefer to do it.
Yes, I agree. It's not my... Yes.
Strong suit is, I think, just not exactly accurate. But yes,
I don't go out of my way to connect just to connect.
Not to.
Right. Which I don't think you should. I think when you go to these, meetups, and maybe when you jump inside a Facebook group, be intentional. Let everybody know what you're looking for. Let them know what you can provide them as well. Give a lot of value, and then you'll receive that value back in terms of a deal, a relationship.
Are you supposed to give value, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And give value shamelessly and without holding some sort of resentment if someone doesn't give the value back or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the masterminds that we're in, the big topic of conversation is reciprocity and just giving without expecting anything in return. Just going and giving and saying, "Here's value. I'll share you with my community. I'll share you with my email list. We'll send it out," and then don't even ask for anything back, let alone expect it.
For sure. And then the least you expect it back, the more it's going to come to you. So
Kiki's just getting fired up in there.
Utilize those Facebook groups. And then the next level is paying for somebody. Obviously, was that on this podcast? We're talking about how much we spend every day, or was that before the show? But every month,
it was before, yeah.
Every month we spend probably $8,000 to $10,000 on higher level masterminds to continue to elevate our business. Obviously, we got a paid community that you can be a part of as well. But that is the next level beyond the free stuff.
That's what this is, and we're not really doing a pitch for our community, but it is incredible the amount of wins that you see inside of this. I mean, in my opinion, and don't spend a dime with us if you don't like us, but you're paying for the knowledge. You're either paying it through inefficiencies and mistakes on your end, not as much cash flow, not as much profit, negative money, or you're paying it to learn the grooved path. Either way, you're paying for it. You're never just don't be cocky or naive enough to think that you're going to do this without help, or at least do it efficiently without help. You can be stubborn and do it on your own and buy one rental property this year, or you can spend a few grand and get guidance and buy 5 this year. Which one's better for your long term? Obviously, 5 properties the right way. All right, so in the third step, which is the most fun step, in my opinion, is taking action. You have to get in the game to actually learn. You can only learn so much from the sidelines. I like to say, I think it's pretty accurate. Step 1 and 2, which are huge, gaining knowledge, connecting with your community, you can only learn 20% from that. The other 80% comes from actually taking action, and you action your way to results. I wish it was catchier than that because I love that phrase, but it's not, so it's not going to catch on. But Lucas, this is what we did. we went to local meetups. We went to the one we host now. We went to all local meetups in St. Louis. We went and met with bankers. We offered on houses. We bought a house we didn't even know about the refinance method. We talked to private lenders. We just did it until it worked out, and that's literally we actioned our way to results. So and it's fun. I think it's fun to take action and actually do it, but also something that people don't talk about very much, I don't think, is it's motivating to get a win. So it builds momentum as you take action. You can't really build momentum by watching our podcast, but you can build momentum by taking action and having wins.
For sure. We talked about this a little bit on one of our coaching calls today is, set up, there's certain things.
Which you host, by the way. You host a call, which is
I do. So do you.
Not very many people actually host. They usually have coaches.
But we talk about losing motivation as you keep getting hit with challenges in the face. So people understand that you don't have total control over the result. You can influence the result, but you don't have total control. What you have total control is what you do today to get you to the result that you want, whether how many calls you make, how many offers you make, how many driving for dollars leads you put in there, how many private lender coffees did you set up. Like those are what you have control over, and the results will take care of themselves. So, those are the type of metrics that you should be worried about is what you control, those leading indicators, and those are fun too, and just enjoy the process and the results will come.
That's a viral short right there on Lucas FasterFreedom. Make it happen. All right, so no, you tag me. You're going to do it.
Yeah.
I was also thinking Luke's going to create social media. Like you should react to my videos and like tear them apart or do good or bad.
That'd be funny.
But you'll get my bleed over too. All right, so we talked about our biggest mistakes that were horrible, bad, lost $1.5 million in potential and actual losses. Then we talked about 3 things that brand new investors, I think, kind of have to do before they start to move the needle. And here are 2 things that Luke and I are working on. And Drew Brees said, you can always get a little bit
just brilliant
better
by my man Drew.
By Andrew Brees. Keep the questions coming. I see Sean. I see a few. So keep them coming. We're going to answer them here in a few minutes. We're going to do a quick Q&A section. So what are we working on, Lucas?
So 2 things we're working on are leadership and alignment. I'll hit on leadership. Sam will hit on alignment.
I'll do it.
This was also a discussion of our one of our coaching calls today, which was amazing discussion. But understand that everybody is a unique human. So leadership is an art, not a science. Be yourself. Number 1. Be authentic. And but even though you're being yourself, I do think the best leaders in the world have a certain set of traits among all of them. So those traits to me are the ability to inspire / motivate, but motivation to me is more short-term, where inspire is over a long period of time. An ability to communicate their why. So everybody has a reason for being, or should. If you don't have one, it could be a personal mission statement, but a lot of times the best founders and CEOs in the world, their personal why bleeds over to the business why very often. And ability to communicate that why with their family, with the team, and get the people inspired is a big part of growing a successful business. Optimistic, confident, and positive. We focused on confidence in our
optimistic, confident, positive. Lucas.
Yes,
that's the 4th part of that.
I'm just describing me, but confident to me comes with taking the action. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be confident about something you've never done, and we weren't super confident in the beginning, but we were confident that we're going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But on the exact steps, we had no idea, but we took the action. We learned a little more each time, and every time we learned more, every time we made one of these mistakes, our confidence grew because we learned so much. Bravery or courage is not the absence of fear. It's not means you're fearless. It's having fear or being fearful of something and still having the courage and ability to push through that.
I thought you were going to do the Brene Brown definition. I just listened to that this morning on the way in. I don't remember exactly, but it's something like courage, exactly that. Courage is acting despite not having full control over the outcome.
Yeah, beautiful.
Which is a difference. But that's a good book.
It's a great
I listened to the first couple chapters of Dare to Lead we're reading, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Decisive, one-way door versus a two-way door. A lot of people take way too much time making a decision when it's a decision that you can reverse. So that's a two-way door. You hop in it. This is Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
I didn't make this up.
Is he smart?
Yes. So you hop in that door. You don't like the outcome. You can just go right back in the door that you came out of, and everything's kind of back to normal, or take a couple steps. And so those are the decisions that you don't have to have all the information in the world to make it. Get some information, make a decision, and move on. The one-way door stuff is decisions that you make that could change the landscape of your entire future. So make sure you take some time to gather some knowledge and think about that with you and your family.
Real quick, I think that's genius. We're going time because we do this a lot with Freedom unintentionally. It's like you make decisions, and if you can retract them, then make them quickly and learn. Because you sit there and make a simple decision or something, you can reverse it. Just eats up your knowledge and time. The other thing is, Bezos, kind of bald like you. Do you think you could take him?
He's pretty jacked.
I know.
These
I
days.
think he might get you. He's
he
older,
might be,
but
like technically sound.
I think probably they probably has some training to fight.
But I might have him by a good 60.
No, goodness gracious!
Well,
you think
I guess I
bet he weighs
Shane
185 pounds, 195
pounds.
pounds.
By 30.
How much does Jeff Bezos weigh? Put it up. But anyways, I think if you got him good, but I guarantee he has more like training than you do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's technically sound.
You just might catch him a little bit.
I might catch him and just be overpowering strength.
Yes, that's it.
No, he's a really nice guy. I would not want to punch him.
No,
so. He's awesome. Yeah, he talks about his his space exploration company, Blue Origin. He wants that company to be known for making the best and fastest decisions. That's it. That's like part of their mission.
So and his Amazon's all about customer like support and like customers right. So anyways,
you should hear him.
Weight is unknown.
LOL. That's hilarious.
Bezos wins for sure. Sean says he knows.
Hey. Check out these.
We won't talk about
hands.
Luke's fist fights he's been in before, but all right, finish the last one out.
Real quick on Amazon, like we look at them as like this, amazing, perfect thing in there, but in Jeff's podcast with Lex Friedman, he talks about he's like half the time Amazon's a mess. Like there's so many issues and things we're working on all the time, and they're like that's just part of it. That'll never go away. So it makes us feel a little better
mess
about
too.
Yeah. All right, and then resilience. Like you're gonna get knocked down, period. But the ability to continue to stay inspired and motivate and push through those obstacles is going to be the difference between you being successful and you quitting and failing.
I get knocked down.
Ooh, a little
but I get up again.
You're never going to keep me down. I get knocked down.
But I get up again.
You drink the
and
whiskey
I lost
drink?
when Tyler goes into another thing, when you go into another like window, I think I lose power. So I'll go back to the window. There you go. All right. The second thing we're working on is alignment. This is like you don't think about when you're growing company and growing businesses. Like leadership's kind of important, but how important it really is. But then alignment. This is huge. And this is something that Luke and I are finally coming to terms on. It's been 6, 8, 10 months maybe of some struggles of us being aligned as well as other things. So having alignment. Jeff Bezos is probably not a better singer, somebody just said. But anyways, so it starts at home. Luke and I have talked about this quite a bit. Like, and Lucas is...
My man's got my back.
Who does?
No, you do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Screw you, Sean. Maybe we'll go because we're skipping. We'll see. All right. It starts at home. Lucas has actually kind of been talking about this for a while, though. And I guess why don't you just explain it? You're explaining better than I do how like when you're solid at home, how that.
For sure. Alignment. So it starts with your closest relationships. So that's either with your spouse, if you're super young, maybe with your mom or dad, with your kids, but with your close family. Like those are the most important relationships, and they should come first. If it's the other way around, those relationships, like if your business comes first, those relationships are going to suffer, and then it's going to make business that much harder. But if your relationships with your family and the most important people in your life are strong, then you get to go act way more powerfully in business, and it's just fun at that point. You get to go enjoy yourself and build some cool shit.
I like it. So clarity and focus at home, that kind of bleeds into, we've noticed being the leaders and owners, it really helps us set the culture at the building. And then communication between Lucas and I, because we talk a lot, but a lot of the times we'll like hang on the weekend and have some fun and talk all about sports, and like we don't talk about business, which I think is good, but we are setting intentional time to talk about business and be on the same page because the team feels it when Lucas and I are not in alignment.
For sure. Yeah, and I think it's important, like if your spouse is your business partner, which kind of reminds me of us for a little bit. Yeah. Make sure you have that time to align on a personal level and a business level. And
How does Jeff Bezos' weight not know? That's so weird that he's never...
Yeah, that is weird.
He doesn't want to be.
What about height? We could probably guesstimate based on height.
Dream big dreams. So we're going to talk about our dreams. Then we're going to do a quick overall market update, and we're not going to dig into the St. Louis market because we have that in here. And then we'll wrap it up. So dream big dreams. Old Buster Moon. Love that guy.
Sing.
So Lucas, what's next for us?
Yeah, so we want to scale our real estate. We love owning real estate. We believe that we're one of the best stewards of real estate there is. We care about the property. We care about our tenants as well. So we believe that we're the best people to own it.
For sure.
Over
There's
some
a lot of
slumlords or whatever the heck
or
there
hedge
is out
funds that
there.
don't
So
care.
we want to continue to grow, but we also got to get some things on the accounting side figured out before we're able to grow. So billion in real estate, we're going to get there at some point. What do you think? 25 years from now, we'll
Something
have a billion.
like that. That'd be cool.
And that kind of comes with $1 billion organization. We'll probably get to the $1 billion organization before then, because it's just making our businesses more profitable, our impact more profound, our reach more wide, and
Not deep.
not deep, just one.
Mm-hmm.
Semi-pro pickleball team we're going to bring to O'Fallon. We're going to be the O'Fallon Smashers. That is a joke. We talk pretty often about bringing an NBA team or being part of some sort of ownership group for an NBA team here in St. Louis. That is the goal, not the pickleball. That was a joke.
Yeah, and Archers or the Hustle, I think. I like the Archers, but I'm kind of vibing on the Hustle with STL being like
not the
bolded.
Hustlers, the Hustle.
Yeah, because there's teams that are like one word, Magic,
Yeah.
Thunder, the Hustle, and have STL be, and we're going to make sure our coach is a hustler.
You gonna
The
be.
defense. All right, cool. So let's give some market thoughts, and then we'll get to some Q&A, and then we'll get to viral reactions and see Lucas's face get red. All right, you cannot predict the future, but you can create it or adapt to it. I changed that. So and Luke, feel free to add in. So I just want to talk about the macro market of real estate. So I would think somebody in when I was in maybe your shoes watching or listening or newer to real estate or some experience, I would want to know an experienced person's opinion. So that's what we're doing here, is giving our opinion and based on some facts. So this is a chart of the median house price since 1960. So the last
In our country.
in U.S. So the last 60-ish years of what the market's done. A couple things I want you to notice if you're watching is real estate always goes up. Death, taxes, and real estate goes up in value is a guarantee in this life. Now, will it dip a little bit, but in aggregate, what you own, as long as you take care of it and don't let it go to hell, obviously, is going to be worth more than it is today. It's probably going to double in value in 15 years because that's been the history of it. But own it, manage it well, it's going to double in value. It's going to go up, even with slight risk and slight dips. So, first thing what you notice, real estate goes up. The second thing I noticed looking at this, Lucas, is look at 08. I mean, I know it's bad, but it affected the finance markets, not just, but as a real estate values go, 08 wasn't horrible. Wasn't good.
I think the worst part about 08 was just the length of it. You know what I mean? Instead of like the sharpness of the decline, it just lasted for so long. You know, when you're in the middle of that, you know, you're in the bottom from 08 to 012.
So people didn't know it was coming out. Yeah,
exactly. So there was just like the zero optimism when you're in the middle of that.
I don't know. Rates will not come down, and house sky. I don't even know what that means, Jeffrey. We didn't even talk about rates.
Yep.
All right. Anyways, thanks, Jeff. All right, and then the other thing to notice, a couple more things, and then we'll move on. Is the gray lines? And if you're listening, not watching, this is the historical house prices of median house prices, and there's about 8 recessions that happened since 1960, and I think 5 or maybe 6 of them, house prices at the beginning and end of recession went up. So usually recessions don't mean dip in house values. 08 obviously was, right after COVID was, but other than that, they've pretty much gone up or remained pretty steady. Then last thing is after COVID, you know, with the inflection of inflation and everything, of course, house prices skyrocketed, but they're already auto-corrected and have gone down and up a couple times since then. So real estate is a good thing to own. If you're worried about your house is going to be worth next year, you should probably not buy long-term real estate. You need to look bigger picture. All right, Lucas, the last thing on this part is this is the Fed's funds rate. This is what banks borrow money from the government and borrow and lend money to each other at. And it's been, historically, I would say the average is probably like 4.5 or 5, around where we are now. It was at 0 twice in history, after 08 and after COVID. So that's not normal. That's never probably going to happen again. Rates aren't going to drastically go down anytime soon, in my opinion. Maybe a slight dip or two, slight bring down this year if inflation shows in the 2s. But other than that, it's never going to be like it was in, probably like most of the last 10 years. We're going to have to get used to the new norm. And people owned a lot of real estate and bought a lot of real estate and were very successful at much higher interest rates than we're at now. We just have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, look at that. Every time they've raised rates in the past, there's normally some sort of recession that follows.
Because they're trying to get ahead of it, I would assume.
Yeah.
That didn't cause a recession, but yes.
Yeah, or they want to cause a recession. You know what I mean? To take down inflation.
That makes you think a recession's coming.
Oh, yeah, which it absolutely could be.
And most of the time, they don't know a recession. It's some of it's lagging indicator, so we could be in one now. We just don't know for sure.
For sure.
Yep. All right. Yeah, we're not going to do St. Louis stuff, so we're going to skip through this. This was for our presentation. And so let's get to some strategy and then some Q&A. So throw some questions in the chat box now. We will get to them.
Yeah, for sure. So we got strategies to succeed, whether you're a fix and flip, want to own some rentals or do own some rentals, or a wholesaler out there. So fix and flip, it's kind of the same thing as always, except for a little different spin on it. So we've seen a lot of strong buyer demand and activity in those higher price points. We used to have a niche in our flipping business, Faster House, where we wanted to stay at like $350,000 and below, but we've seen a lot of good activity from really qualified buyers who care less about the interest rate that are in that $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 price point. So we were kind of used to be almost afraid to go up there because of a risk factor, but we've been going up there a lot lately. Not a lot, not like over leveraging, but if the house is right and it's still a cosmetic rehab and the rehab's in our scope of work that we can handle, we'll go up there and we'll get a big rip out of it up there too, because the profit margins are larger up in those higher price points. So that's been nice. And then obviously always quality product, 100% complete, not 98, not 99. That thing has to be 100% complete. I would wait the extra week or two to get it 100% right to go on the market. And then price right. Let the market speak for itself and hopefully prove you wrong that you were too low. But if you're too high, you only get one shot at really pricing it right. Then you're going to have to drop, and then you get days on market and your house looks all funky, all right? So on the rental side of things, still super bullish on single family rentals. We love them for a lot of different reasons. Super liquid. You can, sell one, keep one, pretty cool there. And you can turn them into a long-term rental, short-term rental, or mid-term rental. So if you're struggling finding cash flowing long-term rentals in your market, maybe look into the mid-term rentals, maybe look into the short-term rentals. But long-terms are still out there. They're just a little fewer and further between. On the multifamily side of things, as interest rates rose over the past couple of years, we would expect the yield, the return that you would buy on a multifamily investment went down along with it. Period. That's what happened. But the prices of those multifamilies haven't quite adjusted to where we're getting returns that we used to. So. Don't force a multifamily deal right now. Prices will come down to adjust a little bit. We're seeing it with one of ours we have listed as well. So don't have to force a deal, but there'll be some deals out there on the multifamily side of things. And when I say multifamily, I'm talking, 12 to 100.
We're talking people use multifamily correctly, but incorrectly, in my opinion. People say 2 and 3 family, 4 families are multifamily. Technically, they are, but most people, when they say multifamily, they mean like 10 or more.
Yep. On the wholesale side of things, lead flow is going to be key in this contracted market. So the number of transactions in 2023 is like one of the lowest on history, lower than 2008. So if you're a wholesaler who relies on volume, that's not a good sign. Our volume was down like 40% last year. So that's crazy, but figure out ways to build relationships and marketing channels that work to create some sort of consistent lead flow. But also maybe look into taking some things down. So line up your private money, line up your hard money, take something down, clean and list it, wholesale it, or maybe even start thinking about doing a little rehab yourself and putting it on the market.
I like it. Awesome. Let's get to some Q&As, and then we'll get on to the viral video, and then we'll shoot some baskets. So Dolly East, your question is, you've been patient. So how do you find private lenders that don't expect a 20% down? A couple things here. I think you're probably confusing private lenders with hard money lenders or maybe even banks. I have never heard of a private lender asking for 20% down. I'm not saying they're not out there, but I think the way you're wording this question makes me think that you consistently are getting asked for that, and you're probably not going to private lenders. Private lenders are individuals that you have a relationship with that lend you money out of their 401k, their IRA, home equity line of credit, cash they have. And most, if not every one of them, you have a relationship with them. You can build in 0% down, and you pay them on the back end. Hard money lenders will require 10 or 20% down potentially, so you can pair that and then do that. But that's the first thing. I look for specifically private money lenders. Shane says, what's the difference in your fix and flip product and your wholesale product, Walls?
Yeah, so our wholesale product is a house that hasn't been rehabbed yet, so it needs a ton of work. So we sell those to investors who are looking for some sort of project, whether it's a fix and flip, a fix and sell, or a like the BRRRR strategy that we teach here, a fix and rent out. So and then our fix and flip product is already completed and it's 100% ready for an end buyer at that point.
Yeah, awesome. We're going to blow through a few more of these. So Sean says, what do you think about borrowing money from private lenders at high rate environment? I think private lenders, hard money lenders, their rates are high. Their rates haven't really changed a ton compared to the normal rates. They haven't doubled or gone up. So private money lenders are going to be that 8 to 12. Hard money, that 12 to 16 or 17%. It's short term. Get in and out quickly. Put it in your formula so you know that's a cost that you're going to incur. And just deal with it. As part of it, you're not going to be able to get it much cheaper. One more question, Lucas. Pick one that you want to answer.
Ooh, personal advice. What's the oh gosh. Rent or buy? Nope. What do you think the real estate market will be like 6 months from now? I thought that's a good one. So I think this spring is going to be super strong. I think buyer activity and seller activity is going to be much higher than it was a year ago. Rates have come down a little bit, but really haven't come down as much.
On the 30-year mortgage, yep.
Yeah, on the 30-year fixed, really haven't come down as much as we thought by this time, but it has some room to come down, even if the Fed funds rate doesn't come down. The 30-year fix does have some room to come down. So I think that'll unlock a lot of people looking to get in the game and move. 6 months from now puts us in like August. I just think we'll be strong. I'm not going to try to predict what it's going to be like into the winter, I guess. But for right now, I think the spring and summer is looking pretty optimistic in my eyes. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. Nobody knows for sure. So the 30-year mortgage is based off the 10-year Treasury note for the most part, or like that's a big indicator of it, and that has some room between what that is and what they're charging. So I think I could see there's been a bigger gap between what 30-year mortgage companies could charge and what they're charging. There's a gap that they have, and it's been huge recently. So I think they can shorten that gap, and they will if they don't think the Fed's going to raise rates again, or they think they're going to lower them. So I could see maybe a rate drop or two this year of the Fed's funds rate, which is not directly correlated to the 30-year fixed.
May? You think in May, Prim?
May, I could see a quarter point in May.
I could
maybe.
see May too.
But who knows? Nothing's going to be drastic. If rates ever do drastically dip, which I don't think they will, that means prices will skyrocket. So I don't think that's going to happen.